Hello, we're Mad Mega Gaming, and we're Mad Mega about games. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Resident Evil trailers that dropped 2 days ago during the Resident Evil showcase. So we took some time to watch the 3 trailers that dropped, which included the gameplay trailer, the cinematic trailer, which is titled the third trailer, and the announcement for the PS5 demo called Maiden. So we'll be talking about our impressions about the showcase, and we'll be playing some of the footage in the background from that showcase while we talk. Maybe not. Probably not.
You gotta pay attention to the pregame, Chris.
Well,
no, you're not doing that this week.
Impressions. Who wants to start? What do you guys think?
Well, see if you want, man. I could fucking I can just kick off.
Can I just say one thing real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
All you gotta do is look at the comment section. Everyone's mind went directly to the gutter. So, all right, what were we gonna say, Jay?
I mean, yeah.
I was gonna say I could kind of go into a little bit of details and kind of break down for everyone kind of what, because that showcase had a lot of Resident Evil shit in general, like from the fucking games to the fucking animated film that's coming out. So I could kind of break down sort of on the game side what exactly we saw, and then some other tidbits, and then kind of I can guide the conversation on what we'll talk about.
Yeah, and you're I think the only one who actually played Resident Evil 7, right?
Oh baby, oh yeah.
And I think you said you thoroughly enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, bro. So I'm probably the hypest in the group for Resident Evil Village. I played through Resident Evil 7, played through all the DLC. I fucking love that game. That switched to FPS and kind of that very like survival-esque narrative-driven game. Loved it. I loved every bit of it. So I was excited to see that Village is a direct sequel to 7. When you're playing as Ethan Winters again, and apparently he's getting into more shit, getting drugged back into more shit. But just to kind of give you guys a rundown of what we saw at the showcase, right? So we saw a story trailer, like maybe like a 2-minute trailer that kind of dove into a little bit more of what you can expect story-wise as you're playing as Ethan Winters, why he's going to the village, why he's going to the castle. He's trying to get his daughter back. We don't know why she's been taken, all that shit, but that's the mission, right? They also showed off the first gameplay trailer. It was like a 5-minute trailer that actually broke down some of the new features that we'll see, which weren't really that many, and then just sort of some overall like combat and walking around and just general enemy engagement. And then we also saw a trailer for a multiplayer component called Reverse that will be a free addition to anyone who buys Resident Evil Village. And then, of course, as Chris mentioned, there was the PS5 exclusive demo that launched the same night as the showcase called The Maiden, which is kind of like a walking and running simulator where you can't really fight anything, but it's supposed to give you just an idea of what Village is going to feel like atmosphere-wise and environment-wise.
Is it like that Resident Evil 7 trailer that was like a new beginning or something?
Oh, no. I know what you're talking about. No, this trailer was more like straightforward.
Oh no, I meant the Maiden gameplay demo. I'm sorry. Is that like the Resident Evil 7 where you got to like wander around the house and find clues?
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what you meant. Yeah, it's in the same vein. I thought you were talking about the other trailer that they had before with the creepy ass music.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's in that same vein. Walking around, getting an idea. I don't know if you can. I haven't looked too much into it because I don't have a PS5. So I was like, man, fuck that shit. But apparently, you can't do anything. You can't fight. Like, there's no real combat. You literally can just like walk around and run and try to escape the castle. I know in the Resident Evil 7 demo, you could actually like achieve a goal and actually unlock shit for the actual full release. I don't think this particular demo has that. But during the showcase, they did mention that another demo will come somewhere around spring, right before their May 7th full game release that will be on all platforms. So maybe that demo will be a little bit more in depth and have some of that same shit as that Resident Evil 7 demo where you could unlock shit for the future release.
What was it that you unlocked in the Resident Evil 7 demo?
I think you unlocked something like a dirty coin or some shit, and I think it's just like an extra coin you could use to purchase shit, like weapon and shit like that. Like unlock it at the bird unlock at the bird cage. I think it's all you could get from that demo. Well, the coin.
What's the coin do?
The coins allowed you to unlock like certain items that were in this trailer. So like I think even the fucking mega revolver was like the fucking Desert Eagle type weapons behind one of those cages, and it's just cost a certain amount of coins that you could find in the environment. Yep.
Because I remember you and I played that trailer together at the same time.
Oh yeah, we did. I forgot we
and
did that. Sure did.
yeah, so you beat it, right?
Oh yeah.
And my game got stuck at the very end. It glitched or something. So like the final door wasn't opening, I think. And I just wasted like 8 hours. or however long it took.
Oh, like you just kept walking around because whatever was supposed to trigger wasn't happening.
Yeah, and I
Was
was
that
I was
the-
looking up some guides and it said this is supposed to happen once you do this, and it just wasn't happening.
Was that demo where you're walking in a house and it's first person?
Yep. That's what Resident Evil 7 did.
I did try
Mhm.
that out. I got confused and I just stopped. I was like, "What the heck? Is this broken?"
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
scary. It was scary for me.
So
I don't play
speaking
scary
of
games.
Resident Evil 7, one cool thing that they did announce. So, they announced their May 7th release date, and then of course they announced like all the different fucking editions that they will have. So, standard edition, digital deluxe edition that comes with all this extra shit. And they also even announced a physical collector's edition that'll come with a Chris Redfield figurine that looks dope as fuck.
I saw that.
So it's like his look that's in Resident Evil Village, like that trench coat, like dope ass
Oh,
look.
yeah.
So it'll come with a figurine of that. And they also will have a special bundle you could buy that it comes with Resident Evil Village, and it also comes bundled with the complete edition of Resident Evil 7. So I thought that was dope for anyone who's never played Resident Evil 7, but also wants 8. You can just buy that bundle, get everything. And I don't know if they released a price yet, but if you haven't played 7, I highly recommend you play that, especially since Village is a direct sequel. I'd pay full price for 7 right now. I'd pay $60 for that game again. I highly recommend that you guys play that for the audience as well if you've never tried it. Resident Evil 7, fucking dope ass game, man.
It looks like a really good game. I liked the things they did with it, like the found footage.
Oh
But,
yeah,
man, I was scary, man. I couldn't get too far when I was playing that game.
yeah. For the record for the audience, right? Like, I think I'm the only one in the group who has beaten like any type of like these survival horror-esque games like the Outlast and the Alien Isolations and shit
I don't
like
know how
that.
you do it.
Yeah, I don't think has anyone in the group beaten any of these like survival horror games.
I don't like
The
survival horror
only-
as a genre. I don't like the not or like having to scavenge for items and running out of items. That just doesn't appeal to me. That's why I didn't really like Breath of the Wild, just because of the weapon degradation stuff. Just ruined the experience for me. So I did play some of Resident Evil 7. I enjoyed what I played, but once I got to a point where I'm out of ammo, so I can't pass the section, then I turned it off.
Can't miss.
For me,
Yeah, it's a big one. Can't miss.
the only horror game I ever played, like beat and enjoyed a lot, was Alan Wake. I thought the
good-ass
story was
game.
pretty good. They even have a book. The book is insanely good as well. But I think my biggest thing with horror games, even if I enjoy it a lot, it affects my dreams. I'll get nightmares. It's very annoying.
Same.
I can't control it. So it's like, do I want to sleep tonight or do I play the game that I enjoy?
Yeah.
Nah, forget that.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. Like, not for the dream thing, but when I'm playing a horror game, I'm stressed out, so I'm not having fun.
Dude, that's part of the experience. That's what
It
it's
is
all
part of the
about.
experience.
That
like if
that
you're-
adrenaline rush, you're like, oh fuck, and your heart's just like, doop, 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 doop. And that's what it's all about, bro.
I'm more like, okay, close out of this game. Let's go to some like, Viva Pinata. Have
seriously.
fun.
That's like the first 5 minutes of Outlast. Like, screw this. Oh my gosh.
But see, the
That's
thing is,
stressful.
bro, when you're that stressed out and it's that exhilarating and you're just that scared, when you do beat that section or that boss or just the whole game in general, like the feeling of accomplishment, like holy shit, like I went through this and I made it. Like that's a dope feeling, bro. Like
But
it can't
then
be
it's
beat.
like you
Can't
got
be
the
beat.
rest of the game to go through.
You get what?
then you have like the rest of the game to go through. Like you can't
Yeah.
really get that feeling until you beat it. And it's like that's hours. and
Bro,
hours
come
and
on.
hours.
They slow it down a little bit. Even in Outlast, there's like moments where you're like you could take at least one breath and then you
Dang.
get to the next thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
like
it's dope,
Out-
man.
games like Outlast, which is like pure horror.
Oh,
I
man.
have a hard time playing those. If it's like it's kind of like a horror, but something cool's happening. Like Resident Evil 8, that looks awesome with like vampires and all that. I think I can
Mhm.
actually
That's
play
pretty
that.
cool.
7 seemed like pure horror to me. I couldn't
It's the
handle it. I
same
played
thing,
like
bro.
20
It's the
minutes.
same thing. So I mean, in Resident Evil 7, Outlast you can't fight back, right? That's
Uh-huh.
Outlast is literally like all you can do is run for your life. Like that's fucking it. At least in 7, you can fight back. Now, like Matt said, you can run out of shit. You gotta conserve ammo and only use it when necessary. Because most of the time you can run away from shit. You don't have to fight every single enemy that you see, right? You can be like, okay, I can get past them.
The section I
I'm out of the
played,
way.
you had to like walk through a tiny hallway with like 7 or 8 of those things all blocking your path.
Okay, well, yeah, you might have had to fight a couple of them. Yeah, were you missing like crazy?
I put all my bullets into the first one and it did not kill it.
I mean, where were you aiming at?
The head.
Okay.
Kneecaps.
Well, it wasn't a
Yeah, I don't
zombie. It
know,
was
man.
some sort of like swamp monster thing.
Yeah, that was like the creatures in 7. It was like these like these weird monster things. But that's
Yeah.
weird, man.
Ate all my
I never
bullets.
reached a point where I ran out of ammo to that degree where I was so low.
That was
But
pretty
I
early in
did
the game. I was
scavenge. I
completely
scavenged
out.
everything.
I tried
checked
fist fighting.
everything.
Did not work. The thing would just wreck me if I tried fist fight. I might have been playing on hard or something. I don't know.
Oh, see, I don't know why you did that to yourself. I didn't even play on hard. Honestly, every game I play on normal. I don't care what the game is. I put it on normal. Like, there's no point in making the game harder than the developers intended to be at the like that baseline. Where like this is the most straightforward experience. Like this is the regular experience that we intend for it to be. Like play on that mode.
Well, I feel like when I listen to most devs talk about it, they usually say normal's like for most people, but hard is what we're tweaking. That's our like recommended setting for the most accurate representation of what we wanted to do. So I just play.
That's why you ran out of ammo. Might have been why you ran out of ammo then.
Yeah.
No, because they're gonna make sure that that you conserve and only use. Because even in that hallway, right? Like you could probably juke like a few of them, and maybe only kill like ones that are directly in the way or something.
All my ammo into the first.
You also take a hit or two.
All of my ammo. I couldn't take any hits. I think those things one shot me. Or at the very least, it was 2 shot.
That's where you're playing Legendary.
Yeah, like, I don't know what the hell Matt was playing.
It's not working.
You weren't playing Dark Souls?
Dark Souls is easier than that. No, so yeah. It always looked good, and I heard really good things about the DLC, but I never got through the main story, so I never got to that point. But what I played of it was cool.
You guys got to play it. Like, even if you don't like horror, like you got to play it because there's some really cool shit that happens. And like Matt said, the DLC is so unique. Like one of the DLCs, you're playing as a character, and you run around fighting the monsters with your fists. Like that's the combat. It's like you're just like boxing and fucking these monsters up. Like the DLC is so dope. I promise you. Like
that's pretty cool.
I bought the complete like pack or whatever. Like it was on sale one day, and like it was so worth it, man. Everything about it is dope from main game to DLC.
I have to be Final Fantasy before I play anything else.
So speaking about, so this is a question for you guys then. Like you look at Resident Evil Village, right? And obviously it looks dope, right? That like Transylvania feel with like werewolves and vampires and shit. Obviously that looks super dope. So for you guys who haven't played Resident Evil 7, does it make you want to go back and play 7 so that you can play Village, or are you just gonna skip 7 and go play Village? Like what are y'all's plans? And I'll start with you first, Chris.
Well, I was actually talking about this a little bit before we got on, and I was thinking maybe I'll just watch someone play 7 and then go into 8. Because 7 just like, I'm always looking over my shoulder and I'm always scared. And there's so much stress. But if someone else is playing, I'm perfectly fine.
It'd make you play 7.
That's why I'm okay with like horror movies.
Watch you.
But then once I'm in the character's shoes, because when I'm playing like an FPS horror game, I am that character.
Yeah.
And it's
big time.
It's a little too immersive.
That's the best part about it.
Like it reminds me that's a good example. You said like you can watch horror movies. Like one time, it was me, Chris, and Asia. We had a whole weekend. We literally watched the whole entire Conjuring universe.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And Conjuring supposedly is like one of the most scariest horror movies out there. But after watching 3 of them, after that, it's like these movies are not bad at all. Like they're not bad at all. And it's like they're just movies. But then when it comes to a game, you're behind the person. Like you're literally making all the choices. Like it's a completely different fear factor. Yep. It's terrifying to the point where I literally get nightmares.
I feel that, bro.
But yeah, how long is the game?
It's not that long, man. I would say it's like your average experience. Like I don't remember how long it took me, but I feel like if you just kind of played on the regular difficulty and just kind of went straight through, I think it's like a 7 hour ish game. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's not
It's
bad at
not.
all.
It's
That's
not too
actually
long.
not bad at all.
Yeah,
You could
Wow.
do that in a day if you wanted to.
it's honestly not a long game, especially if you're kind of like bulldozing through everything. But if you're like me and you're like checking every drawer, all that shit, obviously it's gonna take a little bit longer. But yeah, dude, like 6 to 7 hours, like it's not long at all.
So
Uh,
the how long is to beat website says the main story is 9.5. Well, I guess the main and the DLC would be 11.5.
Okay.
And
That sounds good.
Resident Evil 8, this is from August, is... Wait. They say it's going to be the longest Resident Evil to this point.
Ooh,
Dang.
that's interesting.
Wow. Okay.
By 5 minutes.
That's very interesting.
Now, I have a question. So, how many Resident Evils are actually in the same story to know what's going on? Is it just 7 and 8?
Oh yeah, if you play Village, all you need to really know is 7. There is a character that comes from some of the other Resident Evils, but honestly, you really only need 7
Okay.
to play Village. You'd be perfectly fine having played literally no other Resident Evil. You might miss out on some of the like extra bits like in the background or attached to a specific character,
hmm
but like Chris Redfield, right? Like he's like a main character from the franchise. So if you like he's in the game, you're not playing as him or anything, but like the impact of seeing him within the story might not be as great because you don't really is, but I don't think it would diminish your experience. I think you could still the story is still contained enough to where you'd be fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So one thing I did want to mention, and this is more switching gears, because they did announce that they're making a multiplayer game. So this is sort of in the vein of that Resistance thing they did with the Resident Evil 3 remake, where it's getting bundled with the game. So this multiplayer mode is called like Reverse or some shit. Did you guys get a chance to watch that trailer?
Yes.
No,
Okay.
didn't see that one.
I didn't
Yeah,
see that one either.
it's pretty short. It's pretty short. You could check that out while I'm kind of like setting it up. So basically, there's not a whole lot of details on it, but it comes with Resident Evil Village, and it's this weird fucking deathmatch uh multiplayer mode where you're playing as all the iconic characters from throughout the franchise, and it seems like you can also play as like the villains from the franchise. Like I think I saw someone got killed and then turned into Nemesis. There also was people running around as characters from Resident Evil 7. Uh, and one unique thing about the game is it has this cell shaded look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa, look at that. That's
In,
cool.
in my opinion, I think that shit looks like trash, bro. I think that multiplayer mode looks like fucking garbage.
You do?
Yeah, it
I think
kind of looks like
fucking
a,
trash.
I don't know, like a Metal Gear Acid kind of look.
See, here's the issue, right? They've been fucking trying to figure out how to make a multiplayer mode or component for Resident Evil for a while, right? Like they had the Resistance and they've done some co-op shit in the past, like Raccoon City and shit. And I don't know if they're just having some fucking like just some creative like game design block. Like I don't know what's going on over there. Who's like in charge of creating these multiplayer modes, but like they're fucking it up. And I think that this will be just another like just quickly hash together like throwing out their mode. Like there's if they're trying to because I'm sure the point is right like replayability. So we want to figure out a way to get more money out of the game. And what's the best way to do that? Have a multiplayer mode that keeps people coming back and paying for cosmetics and other bullshit, right? And I think that they can go about doing that in a lot of different ways. Like they can do, I forgot what the right term is. It's asymmetrical, like the Dead by Daylight type shit. They can, have game modes like that that are better than that resistance bullshit, like
So what
more
would,
like natural.
What was wrong with Resistance? Because it seemed like a good idea, and then it seemed like nobody talked about it.
Yes, that's the thing. I've never really looked into it deeply. I just watched like someone play a little bit, and like I don't know, I just didn't like the feel, man. There's something about it just look janky as hell to me.
Yeah, when I think about Resident Evil, what I'm looking for is like going through that mansion, like the vampire mansion, and trying to escape. So like if you do like a procedurally generated mansion with
Mhm.
monsters in certain locations and your goal is to escape as a team, I think that'll be cool. We can do it over and over.
Yeah, and I think that's
Just
what they're
just
trying to go for
replayability.
with the Resistance, but they did that extra element where someone plays as, like, the mastermind and sets, like, monster traps and shit like that. I don't know if it just didn't catch on, like, people just didn't play it or just forgot about it, but they definitely didn't fucking advertise it very much, so I would think that the content for it definitely wasn't there. But what you're saying, Chris, is what I would think would be the better thing, right? Like, trying to take the single player experience, right, and then turn that to multiplayer experience. So have that procedurally generated mansion, or have like a multiplayer mode that has environments and locations from throughout the franchise. Maybe you're playing as some of those key characters, or you can make your own characters, whatever the case may be. And then you go through you do like a dungeon run, like like Bloodborne Chalice fucking dungeons and or shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be tight.
Yeah. Retrieve an item from this dungeon or free this
Yeah.
person from the jail cell or
You could have
whatever
difficulty
whatever it
levels,
is.
loot
Heck,
progression.
make it even
Mhm.
roguelike. If you die, you restart.
Oh, you might be on something
That'd be
there,
cool,
dude.
yeah.
Resident Evil multiplayer roguelike? Holy shit, Rich.
That'd be tight.
You might be onto something there.
$1 million idea. I heard this
Yeah.
name.
Like, and I just feel like they're so desperate, right? Like, oh, how can we make this different? Oh, what if we made it cell shaded? Oh yeah, dude, yeah, that'll change it up. They'll be like, whoa, look at this shit cell shaded, man.
This
New
guy gets a
idea.
Christmas bonus.
Yeah, you're getting a fucking raise, man.
It
Look at
does. It does remind me of the classics from like PS2 and stuff. That's the only thing.
that. I don't know. Is that a compliment or not? You know what I mean?
That doesn't sound like a compliment.
This fucking
So,
sound
like, part of me is like, oh, that's cool, but then it's like, wait, it is 2021. Is that cool?
Like,
Fuck
dude,
yeah.
go to Google, just look up Metal Gear Acid, and that's exactly what it looks like. It's a PSP game for context.
Oh, PSP.
It was a cell shaded like card system or whatever it was.
Oh, that
Oh.
game.
Oh shit! Yeah, it does look like this.
Yeah, you're right. I
Yep.
remember I got that and I was
See-
disappointed that it was a card-based game and not an actual action game. I was like, the heck?
But look, isn't that part of the stupidity, right? You have this perfectly good fucking re-engine that's making these beautiful games like Village and all the remake games, and you decide let's make this cell shaded multiplayer game. Like
That
doesn't
is
make any
random as crap.
fucking sense.
Makes
I
zero
think it
sense.
also is just poorly done cell shaded. And like
That
it,
looks
I've been
terrible.
rewatching it because there was something weird about it I couldn't quite figure out. But it has like that, those dot, like comic book effects.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So on top of being cell shaded, it also has those dots. So it just looks really wonky. And also, typically when you show like a multiplayer game, you have some decent people at it, or like
Mhm.
developers or something, so you have some cool moments. And in half of this, every person is missing every bullet.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good
Terrible
point.
players.
I'm rewatching it now. Yeah, you're right. Like,
It's
it looks like
like,
they're missing like crazy.
Pretty cringy.
and it's not even like close. They're just like,
Mhm.
All over the place. It's like
that was
they're
me and
letting
D&D
their-
last night.
letting their toddler play.
it's just really, really weird.
Yeah, like
yeah.
even the way that they get like shot and hit just
Yeah.
looks so
Looks pretty
weird.
crappy.
So the thing is with this, so I paused it at a certain scene at 21 seconds, and if you look at it, it's actually not a cell shaded layout. It's like the original game with the textures lowered and like
Like a
shadows and
filter
everything turned
over it.
down.
I know.
They like added like an in-game comic book effect, like the usually what you get for beating the game,
Like
like
who thought
sepia
this was
filters, comic book effect, and
like who thought this was a good trailer, bro? Like look at this shit.
That's
Like
pretty
they're all
crappy.
four just sitting in a room, randomly shooting at each other. And then one dies, it turns into fucking what was it Nemesis in this trailer?
Yeah.
And just
I
like
did play the trailer on the stream. I'm just trying to figure out how
Look at
to
that- look
make
at
it
that
keep looping.
explosion, too.
Dude, like,
Look at the explosion at what was it 28 seconds?
Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Like what
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
heck?
it's terrible. And then like
The way they fall down and
that
everything.
person was coming up that shoots that explosion. Do you see that he's just shooting at the person's foot and has like no sense of aim?
like from the very beginning, from like when there
Yeah.
are 4 people in the room, they're all shooting, but no one's hitting anybody.
No one.
I honestly think that one explosion shot is the first and only time we see him actually
Someone
make
got hit.
They were like, hey, I can't shoot. Like,
wild.
give me AoE.
Dude, he was shooting at their feet. Oh my, wow, that's really bad.
Another thing is this is like an insanely old like game type. Like this was something we saw in like PS1 or I don't even know. Like, did we ever even seen a game like this? Like small room, you're fighting each other. Oh, another thing.
I think
You guys
most
ever
multiplayer games
you,
in that
you remember
era
the
were
game
like that.
13?
Oh, which game?
13. It had the number.
Oh
Roman
yeah,
13.
Remember that game?
That
Mm.
game looks exactly like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Except that game was better.
That game looked better because it was made to look like that.
No, it's
Uh,
just so strange, man. Like they're really desperate to try to create a Resident Evil multiplayer mode, and I think that they're getting further and further away. They're missing the marks like so fucking bad now. Like they really just I think that they were going in the right direction with like the Raccoon City that came out like back in the 360 days.
That was a
Like
terrible
they need to go
game.
more like in. It was bad, but at least when you're playing with your boys in a co-op, it makes it a little bit better. You know
I
what I'm saying?
guess, and that
Like,
game was the
Co-op,
worst.
you could take a shitty game and throw co-op in it and be like, "Hey, at least I'm with the boys." Like,
yeah,
you know,
seriously.
you know what I mean? You're just like, whatever. Like, we'll make this, we'll make it happen. So I think they need to go in that sort of direction. And,
Like
and-
Resident Evil 5, that was fun. That was co-op.
yeah,
Resident Evil
5
6.
wasn't even that great. Resident Evil 6 wasn't great either. But guess what? Co-op.
Co-op,
like shit.
boom.
Yeah,
Instantly
Lost Planet
hop a
2,
couple
single
points.
player, okay. Co-op, phenomenal.
Oh yeah, it turns it up to a whole different fucking game.
Whole different level of game.
Yep. Tell you, man, co-op changes the fucking
Yeah,
game.
Death Stranding. Death Stranding co-op. There you go.
So that's what they're missing. That's why they couldn't get a 10 out of 10.
I
Euro
forgot-
driving simulator co-op, bro. That's all we
Mm.
need.
I mean, there are mods for that. If there isn't native multiplayer already.
I have
true.
no idea. It's the only random game I can think of off the top of
There
my
are
head.
multiplayer mods.
So speaking of missing bullets and all that, there was a scene in the trailer where like, you know what to do with red barrels. You guys remember that?
Oh,
Where's that-
so
what part of the trailer is that?
that was the
I'm playing the
gameplay
trailer right now.
for Resident Evil Village.
Oh,
That was the
okay.
gameplay trailer for Resident Evil Village. The
Yeah,
5-minute trailer.
So even that point, it's like, you know what to do with red barrels, right? And the guy takes aim at it. He misses the first shot. And
Yeah.
gets the second one.
See that? I don't know who's in charge of cutting the Resident Evil trailers.
Was
but,
it the
like,
story
that-
one or
that
the
gameplay trailer was bad.
third trailer?
It's called. It's literally just a gameplay trailer.
Okay.
It's like almost a 5-minute trailer. But yeah, I agree with that because that trailer, like they were trying to like show off the features of gameplay, and like they were doing it so awkwardly. Like when he was breaking all the shit, like, oh, guess what? You can still break shit with your knife, and you're just like, okay.
Breaking this jar, breaking
Yep.
this whatever.
Yeah, that was I thought that was weird, but I was just glad to see some actual gameplay footage. I don't know why they cut it that way and why they made it stupid like that, but the only cool thing was like right at the beginning where it's like, oh, now you can guard. I was like, okay, like that's an actual new feature and that's actually fucking cool. But this like other shit, like, and then showing like the Tetris, like Resident Evil 4 style of inventory management.
But yeah.
So yeah, if you guys don't like that, yeah, you're fucked because that's back. Inventory management is back in full fucking effect.
And isn't that what you survival horror people like?
And there's crafting.
I don't know about
There's
to that
crafting.
degree. Yeah, they showed crafting too. Like, so there was some cool new features in the gameplay trailer, but then they did weird shit too. Like, oh, you know what to do with red barrels? Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so let's talk about the contents of the actual trailers themselves. So what were coming from beating Resident Evil 7, what do you think about the direction 8 is going into?
I'm hyped, bro. I like that. What was it? I think it was it took place in Louisiana. I want to say Resident Evil 7. So I like that. The feeling of that
Swampland.
kind of that's swampland, like that kind of just country land. This has that like Transylvania feel to me. Like
Yep.
even in that gameplay trailer, we saw like the fucking like werewolf looking dudes. Of course, the vampire looking women.
Like a very Frenchy mansion.
Yeah, that like that Van Helsing feel to it. Even that one hammer dude gives me
Oh,
that like
the hammer dude.
yeah, he gives me that Van Helsing vibe. So yeah, I'm excited about the direction. I think I'm more shocked that it's a direct sequel. Like you're playing as Ethan Winters again. I was surprised that I thought it was just gonna be like, oh, here's another just random story that's taking place. But to continue and make it a direct sequel, I thought was a cool idea. And giving us a really fresh environment, like this, like just snowy, European environment, the Victorian Transylvanian castles or whatever you want to call it. I think it's dope, man. It's got me hyped. I think the story trailer, gameplay trailer, just got me more hyped. I might even just pre-order this game, but we'll see.
Yeah,
What about you guys?
the trailer
Others?
does make me more interested in this than I was at any point since they announced it. So, yeah, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, like I'm typically not a Resident Evil person. Like I watched a playthrough of the previous one because it did look cool. I just knew I wasn't probably going to enjoy it, so I just watched the playthrough. Got the big points across. But I actually might pick this one up. Graphically, it looks awesome, and I'm just super intrigued in the ambiance they have in the castle.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Richie?
Honestly, it looks pretty cool. It looks different. Doesn't look too scary, but I could be insanely wrong. It could be the most
Once you're in the
scary
game, right?
Yeah, once you're in the game, dude, you're gonna be so wrong.
But would say what intrigues me a lot is a lot of the classic horror kind of villains you see. So like you got the Van Helsing guys, you got the vampire witches, you have the werewolves. That's all pretty cool. Heck, freaking zombies. That's my favorite horror creature kind of thing. That's in every single Resident Evil, obviously. But yeah, honestly, I might pick this up. It looks pretty cool. I might just watch Resident Evil 7 and then just pick this up.
I'm gonna start putting money on the table to see how many of y'all are actually gonna fucking beat this game.
Probably be the first chapter.
Be a Resident Evil 7 situation.
Plus, you get access to that AAA multiplayer.
Ooh, that's a good
Oh
fucking point.
baby,
Play multiplayer.
That's the main reason to buy it right there. That's one thing I did think was pretty cool. Was Resident Evil 4 had the same kind of vibe where you're moving through these like villages and then you kind of reach this castle and like the whole like game kind of changes a little bit in terms of like how you handle environments. So it looks like this game has a similar tone to like going through like a village and then reaching the mansion, so to speak, reaching the castle, and then just having to handle new enemies, new environments. It's kind of some cool shit, like reference to that too. Now, now, Chris, how about you, bro? Is this you think it's gonna be a cop for you?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's unique enough. It's not like just your everyday zombie game. It brings something different, right? It's first of all vampires. I haven't seen a vampire game in quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's kind of like Vampire Masquerade, but that wasn't really a game, I guess. I don't really care about that one. Yeah, it gave me some heavy like Vampire Knight vibes. Remember that arcade shooter?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yep.
You know that's a good game right there, because
That's a great game. It's a
I knew
great
you gonna throw
game.
that game out.
is that a
Yep.
real
Oh man, I
shooter?
love that game.
Actually, I think I played that at your house. Didn't you have that game?
I did have that game.
Yeah, I did play
You
that at your
probably
house.
did play at my house. That's a good ass game. That's back in like the PS2 era, bro. Vampire Knight.
Yep.
That is, if no one knows what that game is, well, unfortunately, like those type of games don't work anymore on like fucking plasmas and LCD TVs and shit. But just go look at some gameplay, man. Maybe you can find it on PC, maybe through emulator or some shit. But that's a great like on rails like shooter, like those Time Crisis like style games. An incredible game because it has that like the same vibe, that Van Helsing vibe. And you're fighting all types of shit. Oof, that's a good
Yeah,
callback.
I used to play that in the arcades all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, I think after it disappeared from the arcades, went to your house and like, you got Vampire Night?
Hell yeah,
Nice.
Vampire Night.
That's awesome.
Now, hey,
Yeah.
one thing I did want to mention, because Mark brought up a good point. He talked about how good the game looks. Now, one thing that like shocked the absolute fuck out of me, right, was they officially announced that this game is coming to what I now call previous gen. So before, Resident Evil Village was only announced for Xbox Series X and PS5, and there was no mention of the previous gen consoles. And so this was the first time that they officially said, yes, this is coming to Xbox One and PS4. And I was really surprised that they announced it now. And I'm a little bit concerned, especially after what we saw with Cyberpunk, right? Like, you had this game and it looks like shit on the old gen, or just doesn't run as well as it should. And I'm kind of curious, what do you guys think? Like, are we going to see a situation where uh, them announcing it so late? Like, do you guys think they were able to really optimize this shit and it's going to run okay on the previous gen, or do you guys think we could see like a vastly downgraded version? Maybe it's like fucking 900p or some shit.
I think that Capcom is a reliable company that we can trust, so I think that the previous versions will be fine.
I mean, we could have said that about CD Projekt Red as well.
Yeah, but CD Projekt Red has what, 2 good games that they made before Cyberpunk?
Out of the how many games they publish?
4? Maybe? No, there's no way they only made that many games.
Like, percentage-wise, they put out some good stuff.
I get the feeling that they're not being overly ambitious with this. Plus, they've been pumping out games, right? They made RE2 and RE3 recently. Mm-hmm. So I doubt this would be the same kind of scenario as Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk was a mess. It's the nicest way to put it.
I think RE2.
Oh, they made Gwent. Forgot about that.
They made Imperialism in 1997.
That is not on their website. It has the Witcher series, Gwent, Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales, and then Cyberpunk, and the Witcher adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the difference is that Cyberpunk is an open world game, so many assets to load, so many things that can go wrong, as opposed to which is a contained, most likely linear game.
The one thing I will say in favor of Capcom is the backlash that CD Projekt Red has seen, I think kind of sets the tone. Like, we obviously can't have the same kind of mess up because they're in deep water, stocks dropping, like legal issues are being brought up as well. So I think they know better to then like to overhype or oversell a previous gen item. They could just say, hey, yeah, you're going to get the experience, but it's going to be at 900p, 720p or something.
So do you guys think that they took this long to announce the previous gen because maybe they it wasn't optimized yet, and so they weren't sure? But then once they reached that point where they figured out, if we downgraded this much or we do this, like, it'll run fine. You think that's why it took this long?
They're probably encouraged by platform holders to be like, hey, so get the new versions or the new consoles to get these, right? I think that'll be fine. I'm not as concerned about this as I was. Actually, I think it'll be fine. All you got to do is just, put super thick fog like they did for Silent Hill 1, and the game will run fine. That's how they got Silent Hill to run.
Just a draw distance of 2 feet.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right.
So you guys think
ways around it. Think there's really nothing behind them taking this long to announce the Xbox One and PS4 versions?
I think it's more just to encourage people to get the new consoles. Cyberpunk was already announced on old consoles, so that was a given.
Or it could be that they, unlike Cyberpunk, they got the console dev kits out to the crews. and they were actually able to tinker with it, and they just didn't want to announce it until that tinkering was done, and they established, okay, this is actually a playable game.
Okay. Well, you
I
guys
think it'll be
better-
fine.
Yep. So I thought it was weird, man. I was like, because even there's a ton of other games that got announced that was like, yeah, we're coming to everything, and I was just like, I thought it was so weird that this major Capcom game only mentioned, like the newer gen, and now suddenly you're like, oh yeah, it is coming to Xbox One, PS4. I'm like, man, that's weird that you would, finally announce that. I don't know. I just thought it was strange.
I think you're gonna get a noticeably different experience, but I don't think it'll be so bad that like looking at the PS4, like the OG PS4 performance, I don't think it'll be that bad, but it will be something that you can, especially put them side by side, you're gonna notice significant changes.
Right.
But as long as it's like mostly playable, and then at that point, like if you want, if people want to complain and want that extra experience, you got to put the money up.
The money
You got to have a nice PC. You got to have a nice or the next gen consoles.
console. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And I think there might have been rumors that the new consoles, I mean, the Resident Evil 7 might get a new console patch as well, which I thought would be really cool for anyone who hasn't played it and has a newer console. They can, pretty it up a little bit, play it on the new shiny console, and then jump right into Village. So that'd be pretty dope too. That actually is a real thing that they do.
Resident Evil 7 remade for Xbox 5 and PS Series X.
What? Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Resident Evil 7 remade for Xbox Series consoles and PS5.
I don't
Anyway,
know,
yeah,
maybe Xbox 5 sounds pretty good.
That's pretty much everything.
I got
covered
tripped
from,
up on that dumbass name. I'm sorry.
Nah, man, you're tripping. Yeah, you are tripping.
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask you, AJ. The Duke,
What up?
was he from the 7?
Yeah, so I saw that, and I was like, because I know they said the having the market back, but I think the Duke is a new character. Because I was like, man, I do not remember seeing the Duke in 7 at all, unless he was in. No.
What I was
Because 4, it wasn't the
remember.
guy from 4. I didn't see him in 5 or 6.
I think
Yeah.
what I've been gleaned from comment sections on social media is that it's supposed to be kind of like the villager or the shopkeeper from 4. Like they're referencing that as in like
Okay.
oh look, a fun shopkeeper character.
Okay, that's what I thought they might have meant, just having a market keeper in general. Because I was like, definitely never seen this Duke guy before, especially with how insane that he looks. So, yeah, that was an interesting choice of a character, but he's memorable. You're not gonna forget him. I'll say that right now.
Trevin.
Cool. Do you guys have any other comments? Anything you noticed throughout the trailers or anything like that you want to talk about?
Did they mention VR?
Nope.
No.
That's a shame.
I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with one though. That was scary.
They did not mention VR this time.
Cool.
Nah,
Well, I think that about wraps up our discussion with Resident Evil 8 showcase.
yeah, that's
Unless
everything.
you guys
bro.
have any last minute additions?
Nah, we covered it all, man, in great detail. That's some good shit.
I think we're
Cool.
good. I look
All
forward
right.
to this.
Well,
Fuck yeah, I'm hyped as fuck. I can't wait.
yeah. Was it
It's
May?
pre-order,
May
baby.
what? May 7th?
May 7th.
May 7th. Resident Evil
Don't
8.
forget, there's a new demo coming. So for anyone who doesn't have a PS5, we will get a new demo later on other platforms. So be
Sweet.
looking out for that.
Probably more of a combat based one.
Yep. Like
One that,
Resident Evil
one
7.
that mirrors the game. All right. Well,
Yeah.
cool. Well, thanks for tuning in. As you can see on the bottom of the screen, we are on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And also we have podcasts on iTunes as well. And we also do a weekly Call of Cthulhu live play if you want to tune in on Twitch, on True Chat Lou channel. And if you want to check out the description below for more details, go check that out. And with that,
That's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
There's another
That's
topic,
nice.
you guys. I
That's
thought you were
really
doing the
good.
transition to the second topic.
That's a podcast, baby.
That's a
Do you not keep
podcast.
open the document open, Matt?
Huh?
Yeah.
What about it?
Are we still live?
Oh,
Are we
I
still
didn't
live?
see. No, I didn't see this section. Okay. I'll cut
Wait,
it.
are we still live?
Podcast.